Okay, so it's May 15th, 2022. I wasn't going to do a video because, as you can see, I'm getting into sorting out this paper. Okay, or whatever it is that I got to do. Okay? Right? Because, you know, this is, like I said, unfair. And whatever is in the dark is going to come out into the light. That's the way I freaking figure it. Okay. So in the meantime, War Room 1. A room that technically should have been for school. Or just whatever. This is an area that I never, ever, ever get into, people. Because I'm always too busy with this shit. Okay? This. This. That. Okay? More books everywhere. I got these downstairs. Okay? So, I don't know how many videos I'm going to make. No. Because I have, if you notice, I'm getting all this pressure all of a sudden out of the blue. Okay? How many months ago was it that my landlords told me that they cared about me and they wanted to help me with my eyes? They said they wanted to help, and I said, well, if you want to help me with anything, help me get a lawyer. That's the big one, people, okay? Do you know that this is Uncle John's? He loved this. I don't know how old this thing is. I just know that he's had it for a long time. He used to keep his pennies in it. All right. Oh. What does it say? Avon. This is an Avon. Right. Anyway, his sister wouldn't allow him to keep it. She robbed him of everything, people. And not only did she rob him of everything, but for every union worker or subcontracting fucking worker, whatever, some worker on a visa, okay, that worked in the Ciera Memorial Hospital, whether they could speak English or not, or barely speak it, because you weren't sure what you were going to get in terms of the numbers of immigrants that work within the public healthcare system. Right along with that temporary care ward, Old Yale temporary care ward, okay? They all contributed to the medical kidnapping of Uncle John as they went through the fucking halls whispering to spread a rumor so that they could justify what they were doing, that I was stealing John's money, even though John had lived with me for 22 fucking years and we built a house. A home. This wasn't our first home. Okay? This was a home of progression of homes. And then they spilled it over into the CIBC bank so that the bank could justify what they did with Uncle John's inheritance, that they failed to acknowledge that he was told about for 14 months, and when he was told, it was under duress, under the influence of drugs, opiates, that he wasn't informed that they were giving to him because they kept telling him they were giving him nothing more than a calcium pill. And they all conspired, people, because of Eleanor Gilding, an individual who works for the provincial immunization program for its employees, basically, and who's been in the healthcare system for over 40 years. I guess that's clout, right? I guess that's what you can consider clout. But you see, Uncle John wasn't an isolated incident. Uncle John was the tip of the iceberg to expose what's really going on within our healthcare system and how racism, covertly, overtly, whatever, is playing a huge role in the replacement of the Canadian-born people, including the elderly. If they're not having their homes taken away from them by not being released from the healthcare system, from all these immigrant workers, basically, 95%, whispering and conspiring that they can't go home because one of their family members or long-lost uncles want to buy the house people, so they don't let them out. Right? Not everybody has money and a large family to protect the targeting of those individuals. Okay. Uncle John had a large family, and we tried to fight for him and to protect him. But we didn't have the money to do it in order to get a lawyer to represent us in court on the behalf of Uncle John and his immediate family. And because of that, all those people, they took advantage of that, just like they take advantage of other elderly people who have assets and don't release them from the hospital and put them into long-term care. So those assets can be absorbed within the community. House goes up for sale, property developer, property investor gets to snag it, right? Where does your brother work? Oh, he works at the Surrey Memorial Hospital. Oh, good, good. You see that house over there? I want that house, right? That's the shady shit that's going on out here, okay? Anyway, I don't even know why I'm talking about that other than the fight with Uncle John isn't over yet. And I come in here and I apologize and I say, gee, John, it's not like I didn't fucking try. And it's not like I'm not trying. But if you notice, right, get back on track. My landlords said, let us help you. We care about you. You know, we'll give you $400 for better lenses. Don't get the cheap lenses. And I said, well, if you want to help me with anything, help me to get a lawyer so I can put this to rest before I leave this house, whether dead or alive. Okay? And don't think that I'm not thinking about grabbing my USA bug-out bag and crossing the border through the fucking bush as a political refugee when the shit hits the fan. Okay? Because I don't feel like the people around me want what I have to say to be acknowledged in court, right? And fucking dealt with people. Illegal organ harvesting, right along with the medical kidnapping of the elderly, is happening in the province of British Columbia, Canada. But if you notice, I don't get no support to end that criminal activity. If anything, I get lip service, and then I get basically threat after threat after threat of being tossed out into the fucking streets as if I'm a fucking addict that trashed this house, right? And I have absolutely no worth on this planet. Okay? But the thing is, I'm not the only one being treated like that in a roundabout way. My neighbors over there who are facing eviction. My neighbors over there who are facing eviction. All for property development. Let me help you. But if you don't give me what I want, get the fuck out. Okay? If Uncle John was here and we could pay $45 a month, it wouldn't be a fucking issue. Right? You think Uncle John was the only one who was medically kidnapped through the Surrey Memorial Hospital with a 95% immigrant population who can or may not speak English? Okay? Who do as their fucking senior union staff boss tells them to do? Okay? But secretly conniving in the background how they can snag something along the way themselves, whether it's a direct bribe or whether it's, oh, well, gee, that house finally came up to sale. Yeah, okay, well, there you go. There's your foot in the door. Right? You know, I am going to do until I can't do anymore. I am going to focus my hardest that I've ever focused as I've got people around me, my landlords, whoever, trying to sabotage my life. What's left of it, that is. What's fucking left of it. Okay? Because it's half dead already. John's dead, no justice. ShaMay's dead, no justice. Ciera's dead, no justice. Amari is injured for life with a life expectancy of only 45 years, no justice. And I'm not going to talk about Andre or my other remaining living kids that still have to internalize this with that cortisol as mom's being kicked out of her house. Maybe. She better be prepared to be for the worst, because it maybe might fucking happen, because she's such a bad fucking tenant. She doesn't pay $4,500 a month and keep up with the fucking Joneses. So therefore, she belongs at the fucking camp, the Surrey camp, with the rest of the fucking losers on the planet, right? The junkies, the addicts, the mentally ill, the ones that push themselves in fucking wheelchairs and are basically homeless. Maybe have a beer or two every now and then, and because of that, they belong out there? Like, fuck that shit, man. Fuck that shit, man. Fuck it. Because that's pretty much what it's boiling down to. Okay? So, I know that when I show up at court, they'll say, well, do you have any money to pay for the courtroom? I'll be no. And then they'll just toss it out. They'll tell me I can appeal. I'll make an attempt to put the paperwork in like I did with Fraser Health. And then they'll have their badass lawyer come in with their 2 boxes of fucking paperwork and put on their little mini trial and then throw it out of court before I even get in front of a 3-panel fucking judges to waiver my fees so that I can take it to trial. Okay? We're just going to recreate the wheel here. That's all we're going to fucking do. But at least I am trying to end heinous crimes. Since when does it become normal to partake in heinous crimes and then walk around in society as if you've got something to fucking brag about? And have your children and your grandchildren grow up to be like you. And you. And you. And you. And you. Seriously, man. So what I'm doing is I am just going and trying to figure out how I can do this where it's not too stressful. And it makes boo-boo sense. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. I figure I need this room. This is where it all started. It would be nice to get up in there and do something different for a frickin' change. But Canadian people that were born in this country aren't allowed to have a normal fucking life. Oops, sorry, boo-boo life anymore. Nope. And what is all this? What is this, man? And you try and do this with everything blurry. Dark. Like in the freaking tunnel that you're in. Literally. Right? It's not no bright tunnel, I can tell you that right now. Nope. I want to take this bin out of here. I don't even know what's in it anymore. I don't know what's in it. I think it's ShaMay stuff. Miscellaneous stuff. Her schoolwork. For as much as the school system supported her in being a nurse, the school system didn't care about ShaMay being a nurse because they already got 25,000 nurses banging at the fucking border saying, let us in, we'll do what we're told, we promise. We come from crooked countries, so it's in our nature. Oh. Oh my God. Oh my fucking God. See, this is where I take these out and I'm trying to put them down there so I can line them all up, so I can find the time and the energy to sit down and type out what is not typed out in terms of the document list. Okay, plus I'm thinking I have to probably number some of these. Do you see this? That's a lot. That is a lot of shit. That's what I'm saying. I need to get on with my life. Do you know what's in here? I'll show you what's in here in a minute. Stuff I should be using with Andre. Okay? See, I have to sort out these yet. Look, see what I'm doing here? So those binders, a lot of them can go up in here. Oh boy. You know what? I went to go check on Amari, who's on the couch, right? When I got to him, he was sitting up with his legs hanging over the couch. And I have a little rail there, but like I've been saying, I need to use more. Not that I want to cage him in, but you see, he's fell off the couch before, so he kind of knows. He kind of knows, right? But the problem with Amari is he can't really control his body as well as he'd like to. So maybe he could sit up, but at some point he might just end up falling over. Anyway, he wasn't falling over. He was actually sitting up. And then I sat there with him and I let him sit up in the position that he was in because he was so proud of himself for about 10 minutes or so. 10, 15 minutes. I just sat there with him while he practiced doing whatever he was doing with his legs over the couch as the rail was kind of like right there, but there was enough room for him to fall off. But he didn't. I think he knew. I think he knew, and he was just making an effort not to do it. The point is he was laying down when I left him, and when I came back, he was sitting up with his legs hanging over the couch as if he was just like any other normal child. So I'm probably going to have to work on those rails. In the meantime, as I was saying, I was being accused of stealing John's money. That's how the healthcare workers, all those workers at CIBC Bank, justified doing what they did, even though I had enduring and power of attorney. I had two separate types of powers of attorney. The enduring for 25 years, and the power of attorney was signed on in 2001 or so because the bank requested it. And John and I, we went into the bank up in Delta when we used to live up in Delta. So that was for over 16 years, 15 years. And John pleaded to come home. Everybody said he was confused, didn't know what he was talking about, that he needed more rehabilitation. Anyway, They got away with doing with what they got away with. And now I'm being accused of taking advantage of my elderly parents because I can't afford basically $4,500 a month to keep up with the fucking Joneses. And because of that, I've been like basically domestically terrorized for quite some time now, in terms of, if you don't like it, you can move, take it as is. I'm not fixing anything. I'm selling the house. Get out. I want you out in 4 months. Get rid of your stuff. Get used to it. You're never going to have a house like this again. And now I'm looking at a USA bug out bag as a backup plan. Okay. Seriously. But before my shit ends up in a fucking bin here, or who knows what they've got coming for me, people. Okay? Interesting. I can't go to my family doctor and get a referral for eye specialist, or to have him fill out a disability form that he never filled out correctly the first time. Right? So I have to get him to fill it out again. Because he told me to take him to court because he refused to approve of me getting my daughter's medical files. Straight up told me to take him to court with his nose up in the fucking air. And that's a Ukrainian. That's what's coming to this country as an immigrant that can't speak English, that will be working in our healthcare system. Okay, so it's not all about brown people, okay? Because the last time I checked, Ukrainians are white and the majority of them are racist. So they don't mix outside their race, right? Because they're trying to keep their ethnic heritage in check. But besides that point, right? And now whisper is, I'm taking advantage of my landlords because they're old. They own 4 houses, 3 houses, 5 houses. They own more than 3 people, okay? But I'm the one taking advantage of them. And therefore it justifies being abused and fucking terrorized. As I was set up to fail. Right? I'm the second wave. My family it's enough that we were harvested. Okay? But now we're going to continue being harvested. But we were harvested in the house. We weren't harvested out on the streets except for maybe Ciera, right? In 2014, they started bringing in all these students from overseas, a lot of them from India, wherever, China. And they started emptying out the basement suites, the little 2-bedroom bungalows, those types of things, where single, low-income people would normally live. And they just flushed them out, people. Flushed them out onto the streets. That's what 2014 represents. Okay? And because they were addicts, a lot of them are alcoholics, or they fell to addiction through the process of losing their life to only end up homeless. And then once homeless, they took on the devices of addiction to make it bearable, right? Now they're going for the whole houses. It's not just the basement suites or the 1 or 2 bedroom bungalows. It's the whole house now, people. Right? Why get $19.50 for the whole house when you can get $4,500? Because every other fucking homeowner and landlord says so. As they're flipping houses like pancakes. And then having their brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, mothers and fathers that work in the healthcare system, the banking system, wherever fucking system, just jimmying those internal files so that some people, only 10%, don't make it out, and those assets that they own get seized. All right? There's your criminal activity. Where people like mine what do you think's gonna happen, people, if I can't find another house? It's not that hard to fucking figure out now, is it? All right? Homegrown terrorism. I live in a house knowing what the worst could possibly be, and it's very, very fucking close, as I got people up in my face telling me that they want to help me, but yet are willing to kick me out blind as a fucking bat with disabled children, basically. Broke. You know how much money I've spent buying tools and water hoses and just whatever, fucking nails, screws, right? In this yard, over 11 years, and now I'm expected just to get rid of it because I'll never find another house because I'm not deserving, because I can't afford to pay for it, because basically some immigrant says so. As the government, the provincial, federal, and the municipal are plotting and scheming and trying to figure out how they can ease in over the next 2 to 3 years all these immigrants living in all these houses that they took over from families like mine, and they're going to help them to buy all this shit that these fucking property developers are building. Watch and see. I give it 3-4 years. It'll be a big buying boom. Providing that the world doesn't go into War 3, World War 3, or these power-hungry, I don't know what they are, right? Shapeshifters start blowing up freaking parts of the world with their nuclear bombs, right? Because it's still possible. We're not out of that wood yet. Woods. We're not out of those woods yet. It's just the idea that I'm being accused of taking advantage of the elderly again, by the ones that are actually facilitating the fucking crimes here. Okay? It's already been acknowledged that there's corruption within the housing market, but nobody wants to take any kind of responsibility. They're all too busy blaming the elusive politician, as if you can point your finger on any one politician and say you're the culprit. Okay? It's more than the politician, people. The politician isn't doing this, what's happening in my life. Okay? The politician condones it. The politician funds it through allowing illegal activity to flourish in our public union sector within the different ministries, right? But they're not the ones that facilitated. They're not the ones that were giving Uncle John opiates and telling him it was nothing more than a calcium pill, okay? They're not the ones that committed fraud within the banking system that was all around what was going on with Uncle John. It wasn't the politician that did that. They condoned it. They allowed it to happen. They won't stop it. But they're not the ones who did it. Okay? Just like it's not the politician that cut open ShaMay and took out her organs and God knows what else they took if they didn't take it all, people, after the fact. For their morbid fucking transhumanism science experiments. Okay? But they condone it, they fund it, they allow it to happen in our public hospitals, okay? It's the people who own the houses that benefit from the illegal organ harvesting because they're the only ones who can afford to fucking pay for those organs. And the only reason they can pay for those organs is because they exploit the poorest of the poor. They overprice gouge with their fucking rents. They treat us like fucking addicts after they're done with us. And then they insult us so that we doubt ourselves. Right? Make us feel like it's our fault when in fact it is not. Right? So I'm just going to focus on this shit, people. As hard as I can. I will do what I can in a freaking day. Whether it's outside in the yard to keep up with the fucking Joneses so they can make their fucking $4 million fucking dollars on a piece of property that they're going to trash anyway. And the family that lived in it. Because sooner or later they're going to trash this house. So whether I'm here as a family or it's another family. Oh, I know. They're going to rent it out to a bunch of fucking pit bulls. 10 of them. And then label them as fucking student exchange, like, you know, exchanging students, like foreign students. Right. This is all school stuff in here. To do with electricity and magnets and that kind of stuff. I don't know what else is in here, but rocks, just whatever. Look. See, this is why I need to get up in here. That's why I need to get up in here. Can you see? What can you see? This is the stuff I'm supposed to throw out. Like I said, I'm so mad right now, people, I don't know what to say. Other than, like I said, I'm in War Room 1. And I just found a whole bunch more freaking binders. Okay? You tell me how this is fair, people. Okay? Right? It's enough to take these out, and I gotta put them in that white wall unit so I can refamiliarize myself what this is. This all has to do with Andre, when I was fighting for Andre. Right? This is Andre's. Here we got energy weapons and the Substance Control Act, I think. Right? With Ciera and stuff. Brain damage because of Andre. The effects of illegal child apprehensions and what it does to children and their brains. Home community care, that one over there has to do with Uncle John. Rules, court rules, right there. Okay. What's this one? Mental Health Act has to do with Uncle John. Power of Attorney Act has to do with Uncle John. All this up in here with the human anatomy has to do with ShaMay.